Wednesday. It's Wine Wednesday, but it is a special one, isn't it?
It is a very good one. So good evening, everyone. Happy Wine Wednesday. Here is Carl and my co-host and amazing partner, Mira. And we are today hosting across the country a sparkling special for the holidays. This is exciting. We're going to taste over 12. I think we have 13 awesome bubbly from all different aspects of the bubbly spectrum with you guys. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I just can't wait. We have some of our favorite wineries, some wineries that we have not ever tasted anything before. So, there's so many different styles of bubbly out there. There's so many different approach to the wines. There's so many different delivery. I mean, this is a unlimited, like there's no frontier, there's no barrier in the sparkling wine spectrum. And today we're gonna just scratch a little bit the surface on this freaking amazing part of the wine production, which is the sparkling production. So how excited are you, Mira Boucher, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you can't control yourself? I think she's on mute right now, so I believe that she's dealing with another platform right now, because for the first time we are streaming not only on Facebook, not only on YouTube, not only on LinkedIn, like what we do every Wednesday or any other show. We're also going live for the first time simultaneously. That's a word I have a real hard time. On Instagram. So Instagram followers, welcome everyone. This is Carl's Wine Club, Wine Wednesday show. We've been doing that show for now 3 years. And we're going into your platform at the same time for the first time today. And we're doing our holiday sparkling show. So yeah, I mean, we have wines from all over Ontario and BC. And this kind of a little last minute thing that, when your business partner says, we should do this. And you're like, why not? How can we pull that off in a couple weeks? Well, that's what we do around here, right? So we have 13 different sparkling, and we're going to rock it out today and taste wines from Riesling, 100% Riesling sparkling, from white Merlot to tons of blends, a few traditional method, a little bit more champagne style, like that classic Pinot Noir Chardonnay. We have a Blanc de Blanc. We have pretty much all the styles. Obviously, some Charmat, traditional method, Frizzante, and all that. Mira's ready to talk to us. Mira,
I am. So it's so exciting to have you guys on Instagram joining us. Super cool. I'm seeing like Lake Breeze Vineyards, Therapy Vineyards, Arlene, Debbie, Wending Home Wine, a few others joining us. So that's super cool. Stay with us, Instagram. That is fun. And you know what? We got to tell the story of our shirts, Carl, because this is all about celebrating these next couple weeks. Maybe you've got things to celebrate. My niece just had a baby today, so congrats to her. But look, we got this present in the mail, and Marcel Morgenstern and the team at Bellaterra, they send us wine all the time. And usually they're like, oh yeah, there's wine coming in. We're like, oh yeah, that's fine. And they never ask about it. Has it gotten there? Has it gotten there? But this time they're like, oh, did it get there today? Did it get there today? So we knew there's something going on with this package. And we opened it up and look, they made us shirts with us on them.
That is so cool. And you got here, where are they? These are the classic emoji, right? The Canada flag, red wine glass, sparkling glass, and the other Canada flag. We've been signing all of our Facebook and social media posts with these 4 emojis since the very beginning, and it's even included on the shirt. This is freaking fantastic. I love it. So Marcel Morgenstern at Bellaterra Vineyard and Emily at Bellaterra, thank you for the most amazing Christmas gift ever. We are rocking it tonight and so excited. And you know what? Because the gift is coming from the winery, we're going to start with
Woo!
their bubbly, a 95% Vidal, 5% Malbec. Absolutely. So one of my favorite sparkling. Every year this blend absolutely makes me so happy. It's simple, but there's also enough. The bubbles are always perfect. Fred DiProfrio, the winemaker at Bellaterra, is doing an incredible job making that sparkling consistently every year. And you know what? This is always a 90 plus for us. And Charmat method here. So what's Charmat versus traditional versus Frizzante? How about we start with that to give our people a little bit of a better understanding how they're made. So
Sure.
I mean,
But first, you got to tell me what's first in my glass. Is it the rosé or the which one are we having?
the rosé. So the rosé is
Rosé,
the
baby.
Bellaterra. That's the one we're gonna start with because
And
we're
this one is what?
celebrating our T-shirts. So we're celebrating
Yeah.
with.
Woo! Is this
Woo-hoo!
one the Bellaterra one? Is Frizzante traditional or Charmat or what? Oh, you got to spit.
Yeah, this is Charmat. What's that mean? It's one fermentation. It's more prosecco style. Just try to make a reference between champagne and prosecco, just to give an international comp. Charmat is one fermentation. So at the final stage, the fermentation is usually made in tank, and from the tank where the only fermentation comes after that transfer in the bottle and bottled that way. Traditional method is when we refer to the old traditional champagne method where you make your base wine just like you make a white wine, put that in a bottle, and with an addition of a little bit of yeast and sugar, it transformed to carbonation in the bottle. So the bubbles are made in the bottle with the second fermentation. So here is the why. We'll call it the traditional method, much more complex, usually more expensive because it's much more labor intensive. And this is the old classic champagne method style. So that's the traditional method. Can't call it a champagne method if you're not in Champagne. This term has been trademarked. So everywhere in North America, you will never see champagne method on the bottle. You'll see traditional method because champagne method has been trademarked by the AOC and the Champagne. I think it's by the Champagne Grower Association or something like that. But yeah, traditional method is. And you also have the Frizzante style where it's the carbonic method, where the Frizzante it's under 3 bar of pressure. So it's you can call it semi-carbonic, but some Frizzante are so close to the 3 bar, so you don't see a lot of difference in terms of bubbly. But that's mean the bubbles are not as intense as the Charmat and the traditional. Usually with the traditional, you have more definition in the bubbles or more fine, and the style is a little bit more yeasty because the yeast from the bottle, so you get a little bit more of that almond cookie and that very classic traditional method style. So yeah, there is a little bit of the difference between the 3 style. Mira, do you have any question about that? Is there anything you would like me to add to our people to get a better understanding?
That makes sense to me.
Does it?
I do want to talk for a second about the bubbles. Maybe we'll talk about it later as we get going, right? Because
Okay.
I'm curious if the different method that it's made with gives you different kinds of bubbles.
I would say it sure does. It sure does. I mean, when we talk about like a more defined, refined style of bubble, we'll see. Like when we get to the Marinescence, the Ella, and the Black Hills, who are all traditional method, there's much more finesse in the mouth. I mean, they're much more, I would say, regular. That goes like they can coat your mouth a little bit more with elegance, I would say. And you will see also in terms of flavors. When we talk traditional method versus Charmat, it's a little bit more about flavor profile than mouthfeel. There's both, but I would say the most obvious will be the flavor profile, where you're going to get the biscotti, where you're going to get that little bit of a not toasted, but cookies, like cookie dough,
Brioche, yeah,
brioche, and that whole baking style of like all of that. It's from like the yeast, right? And some of these wines behind me, like aka the Black Hills, were sitting 40 months on lees in the bottles. So now we're gonna see like much more complexity, more yeast complexity than what we will see with here. It's pure fruit. I mean, this is dry because you see the brut on the bottle. So when you see brut, the term brut means there's under 15 grams of residual sugar. Brut zero, you're at 0 grams of sugar. It's bone dry. You rarely see that. Unless you're going to go ferment absolutely bone dry. But you always want to keep a little bit of RS in your bubbly, because usually the grapes, when you make a bubbly purposefully for bubbles, a little bit like a rosé. If you want to make a rosé, you harvest the grapes for rosé purposes. So you harvest a little bit earlier to keep the acidity a little bit higher in your rosé, the whole like that thing like that. But it's the same thing with bubbles. If you make a purposeful bubble, you're going to go harvest your grapes a little earlier than the regular harvest, because you want your bubbly crisp, fresh, with bright acidity as the whole purpose. So, yeah, here we are, versus bubble versus flavor profile versus style and method. So, yeah. Any question online? Any question?
Carl's Notes version of it. I love it. I gotta say, like, bubbly to me, when you think of wine, it is probably the most synonymous with celebration, isn't it? I mean, you can celebrate with any wine, and I think the best wine for celebration is either like a big, bold, well-aged red, or like an amazing Chardonnay. That's how I would celebrate.
Now you're speaking my language.
But bubbly is just the thing. Like, it's like it's like everyday language. Celebrate. Oh, bubbly. Like, what do they do with the Stanley Cup when people win it? Don't they fill it with sparkling wine?
Usually it's champagne. Every single championship in professional sports. I mean, they get to the locker room and they pop the champagne, right? There's the
symbol.
There's nothing like this, right? That noise. Is there something more joyful than that noise? When is the last time you heard that noise and people are sad around? No, because when it pops, it's always a woohoo after, isn't it? Do you ever heard crickets after a pop like that? No, you're not. No, this is joyful. This is something's happening. This is the precursor of, hey, there's something celebrating around here, right? Someone is celebrating. There is a joyful event somewhere, somehow. So
totally right.
I want to have a little bit of a story to tell you guys, because my background before we started Carl's Wine Club and before my consulting career, I spent 15 years, more than 15, like almost 20 years in the restaurant business. And there's, I have a little beef against like all of that cohort of sommelier, where like there's like the protocol and the white glove. And I work myself for white tablecloth, top fine dining in the country, where protocol is everything, right? From military service to name it, like table side service, white glove. We hosted like some of the top dinner in North America where protocol is everything. Like, you know what? At some point in my career, I said, fuck that. When I open a bottle of sparkling, I don't want to do that because you don't want to make a noise in the dining room. I made a point to pop the shit out of that cork to everyone in the dining room can hear that there's a bottle of bubbly opening up. And from there, and you know what made me keep going on that? And for many years, it's because I've never had a comment saying, oh my God, did you hear what just happened? I can't believe it just happened. No, everyone around, you got the attention and you got smile. So I don't know how, so I need to research that in the history of wines, why someone have decided that popping the cork is absolutely against the protocol. You know what? I'm a son myself, and I think it's the stupidest thing in the history of stupid. Plain and simple.
It's
Here you go.
Fun. And so is sabering. I know it's messy. I know most restaurants, insurance will not let them do this. But, I mean, sabering a wine? Like, you sabered one with a spoon once, didn't you? In front of a lot of people.
I sure did. New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve, 2006. 350 people in the room, packed house at Chicago Chop House in Calgary. And I had the owner had me standing up on the table, lights on me, and they took the saber away and they brought me a teaspoon. And I had to saber that. And I remember it was Dom Perignon at that day, and I think it was 1996 vintage that I sabered that day with a teaspoon.
Wow.
There you go. So that's the story. But yeah, that was my a little bit of my
that's pretty impressive. I was trying to find the video of me sabering, because if you don't know about this, I mean, you could take like a knife, any kind of knife, but you could or a spoon if you're that good. You find the seam of the wine. You make sure it's really well chilled. You find the seam, like there's like a little bump on the bottle that goes all the way down where the two pieces of the glass have been put together. Find that seam. It's well chilled. You run your knife right up that seam, and it just decapitates the bottle. And it's so much fun. And then the wine spews out of it, and the cork pops off somewhere, hopefully not injuring somebody with the glass. But it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
If you have kids, you try to keep the kids off, they're not being in front of where you savor it. David, I don't totally
say about that. David's saying those 96.
Oh, that 96 was especially in Champagne, was a terrific vintage. All of these wines were so. I remember I had the chance to taste a Krug, the Clos d'Arbonnet from Krug is one of the most prestigious. We did a private tasting back at the Banff Spring Hotel. And yeah, I mean, these 96 were astonishing, and they're going to be for another 20, 25 years. So yes, you're right, David, completely agree. So yeah, we don't have any 96 kicking around here because we're focusing tonight more on, I would say, on fun bubbles. I had to include obviously some traditional method just to talk about the different method and all that. But I wanted to focus more on the fun style of sparkling, because you know what, for our membership, it's not everyone who just wants that classic traditional method complex. Don't get me wrong, I love the Westcott traditional method. I love some of the Canadian, we produce some top-notch sparkling. Jean-Pierre Collat at 13th Street in Niagara is one of the best sparkling winemaker, and he does some incredible traditional method wine. But I mean, for what we are looking for around the country, often just these fun sparkling wine brings so much joy. And I have that pure example around us here from, I had Prince Edward County, $17 Riesling sparkling here. We have white Merlot sparkling. We have what? Frisante, single vineyard, Riesling, Muscat. I mean, there's a bunch of like so much great stuff around that we can enjoy that doesn't have to be these old classic 48 months on lease. And I mean, yes, this is really, really great to have these complex champagne style wine, but also the fun, unpretentious, pop the shit out of that fun bottle concept that I really like, and you don't really care about it. You just want something fresh and celebratory. So here we are here. We're going to start tasting, because if we have an hour of tasting, I have 13 bottles. We're going to start to go rapid fire.
Yeah, and you know what? Meg is in the comments, and she's stopping by, aren't you? Right after this, because we said we got 12, 13 bottles of sparkling open. Who wants to come over? I'm sorry, we live in the middle of nowhere, kind of, but there are people who are coming over. Meg and Roger from Roger's at Hester Creek, and possibly one or two others. Anyways, so much fun. And we have raclette going on after this with the
absolutely. Mira, how about we start tasting wines here? Hey, what do you think about that?
Yeah, because I want to know the side by side. I mean, we already know, we already want to know what the bubbles are like between a traditional method and a Frisante and a Charmat, right? So I want to taste those three side by side personally.
Okay.
And then, but then we just want to hear from you, like what's going on with all these sparklings, right?
Yeah, I want to hear here on the comment box. I want to hear people what's their favorite sparkling. Like, I want to know, like, what's special have you tasted lately, or what are you planning to pop open on New Year's Eve, or do you have something on deck that you know it's a special bottle? Is it something special? Is it something just fun? Let me know what you like. Let me know what specials on deck for you guys. I want to see a bunch of comments around here, and I'm gonna keep you. There's a spreadsheet here, a live spreadsheet that Mira's gonna put the link in the text. Oh, you did already. Perfect. So if you want to follow the scores, follow along. But we have some pretty interesting wines here going on, and there's more information on the spreadsheet. So let's start with the Bellaterra Rosé here. 95% Vidal, 5% Malbec, just like I mentioned. Like 12% alcohol, so this is not big. This is just, there's that hint of floral from the Vidal. There's a nice texture. It's round, it's soft. There's a bright acid, but there's nothing aggressive in there. It's just soft and festive and pleasant. There's a red cherry. I get in that, like the Malbec brings some red cherry profile. You could have tricked me with Merlot. If I had to guess, I would have said Merlot, maybe not Malbec, but yeah, Malbec brings structure, bring the red cherry, and this is just fun and light. It's light on its feet. I give that wine 90, 91 points, because at $24.95 tax in, that's the kind of wine that I want to buy by the case. This is one of my benchmark. I start that. I knew that wine. That's why I'm tasting it first, because it's my benchmark. I know that above that, it's a wine that it deserves a heck of an attention, because this wine for the price, it's my go-to any year. If I want to have fun with something, it's food friendly, and it goes with pretty much everything. Turkey, bring it on. Things like shrimps or ham, like it is so versatile. I can have that in my sleep or before I go to sleep. If you know what I mean.
There you go. I mean, I take your notes verbatim sometimes, put them in this little spreadsheet, and then it's pretty fun to read them after. You say some pretty wild stuff. I love it.
I sure do. And in terms of RS here, if I have to guess, I don't have that information on top of my hand, but on top of my finger, but This is something with not more than 8 grams of residual sugar, I believe. If it's more than 8, the acid counter the DRS because there's no candy sweetness in that at all. I greatly enjoyed that. 90 plus 91 points. You know what? 91. This is just like my bench. I love it. I love it. I love it. And like $24.95, like $25, including tax. Isn't it everybody across the country, a real pleasure to hear when the wine costs you $25, including tax, and you know it's going to be fantastic? I mean, in 2023, this is not something that happened quite often.
Nope.
So there's a good half point here bonus for pricing. So there you go. Sparkling Rosé, Marcel Morgenstern, Fred DeProfrio at Bellaterra. Absolutely great job.
This is the team that sent us these shirts, and we are
absolutely. Yoo-hoo!
Is Bubbly in the selection this week, Carl?
Hey?
Is that Bubbly in the selection we can order?
The Bubbly is not in the selection, but it's pretty easy to add it on, right? If anyone who's looking, can you please put the link in the comment box? We are featuring Bellaterra this week. We have 8 wines on feature, and if anyone wants to add that sparkling, just send us an email. Carl, Mira, can you please add that? And I will send you a link, and you can order some.
That's the Rosé Sparkling. The one we're featuring is the Sparkling Brut, which is also really good and great value. How much is that one? I think it's Sparkling Brut. I think $24.95 also.
Oh, both are the same price? Okay.
Yeah, so one's Rosé, one's Sparkling Brut, but they're both
the other one is 100% Vidal. So that's what's happening, and the packaging is different. I don't have it with me. It's in the box. Can I tell you something? That bottle is in the box who goes to Victoria.
Ooh, we're going to Victoria this weekend to visit family. And that bottle of Sparkling Brut will be consumed there and potentially savored. Because we do have things to celebrate, don't we? Which one's this?
Sure do. We sure do. So what do we have here? This is Sparkling White Merlot from the 2022 vintage from Riverstone Winery. So Riverstone, a winery from Oliver, BC, with Ted, the owner and winemaker. So they have a beautiful estate. It's sitting on, like, it's called Riverstone because their soil is like, it's kind of a micro little terroir where they had at Riverstone, stony terroir, boulder, like there's lots of rock on it, and that Merlot patch is right near the winery. And the first couple rows, they always use it for their sparkling Merlot, and this has been a classic for years. There's a little touch of Malbec in that. It's a little bit like the Bellaterra Rosé. There's kind of a 5% Malbec in there, but blend with Merlot. The Merlot was a bleed, so it's bleed method from a rosé from Merlot, and after that, not Frisante, but Charmat method. So one fermentation. I believe that I love the nose that you can say, okay, so how can I put that together? I'm usually not a big fan of Rosé Merlot. Put it plain and simple. We did lots of Rosé Marathon over the year, and always at the bottom of my scale of my ratings, there is the Merlot Rosé. I think, to me, there's a lack of finesse of Merlot to make a good Rosé. Don't get me wrong, some winery makes some good Rosé, but
you're not out to lunch. Like, we tasted 50 something rosés live earlier this year from all over Canada. And this was the second or third time we've done that. Repeatedly, the Merlots generally tend to score lower than the other rosés, right?
Yeah.
But this one, what's different about this one, Carl?
Well, I mean, what's different here, it's the sparkling side, bring that freshness that I usually don't get in in still rosé with Merlot. It's bolder, it's bigger in flavors, and when we go still rosé, to me it's a little bit too much like cold red wine when we play. But with the sparkling, with the harvest a little earlier, with higher acid, I mean, that makes it a little bit more zippy, a little bit more with elegance, and so that makes a big difference. This is $28 plus tax, so we're looking at around $31, $32. This is more suited for the smoked ham, I would say. You know, like if you're like my family, my family used to like to make a big ham for Christmas dinner with the pineapple glaze on the top. So that is that kind of meat, that kind of rosé. Even if you do a roast beef, that's that kind of rosé, bigger, bolder, but also a beautiful acidity. The bubbles are a little smaller, but they're a little bit more. They push a little faster than the Bellaterra, so they're a little bit more on the attack. But yeah, in overall, I mean, higher alcohol, 12% versus 13.5 here. So definitely looking at more of the meal rosé. And for people who say, hey, I'm a big red wine drinker, well, that's the bottle for that. There's definitely a market for that. To me, it's a 89 plus points. And yeah.
In a nutshell, the way you score, Carl,
yeah,
basically 88 points to us is like a solid, awesome wine. 89, 90 points.
With the 88, it's not necessarily, it's a wine that there's nothing wrong with that wine. It's a wine that I appreciate. There's no problem with anything there, but it's not a wine that I'm going to go out of my way to recommend. I'm not going to go out of my way to look for. It's a good wine, but there's also a lot of great wine around who can be as good, if not better than that. So 88, it's good. It's honest. To me, that's my definition of an honest wine. This is where it starts. Below 88, I'm not talking about it because this might be flaws. It might be not well made. I don't want to jeopardize all of the effort of our producer who works so hard out there. Sometimes you don't always hit a home run. Even the best baseball player gets striked out once in a while. So we don't talk about below 88. 88, benchmark, that's where we start. Honest wine, did a good job. I'm not going out of my way to look for it. 89 now we're talking about, okay, this is solid. We're going from a good wine to a solid wine. Well priced. I enjoy that. And if I see this on the shelf, I can point it out and say, yep, I enjoy that. 89, you're just on the verge of the magic 90 points. I mean, that's where we're all about. That magic 90 point platform is right there. If you're right below here, that's mean you're doing something right. You're just scratching the plateau of 90 points. 90 plus, all the way to 91. It's a wine who's well made, it's well priced, and this is a wine that I will recommend to people to get to go get it. So 90, that's the stepping stone of greatness. 91, 92, that's the two-step to the rock star platform. The rock star platform, the less than 10% of the wine, the less than 5% of the wine at 93 and plus. 93 is the rock star, okay? So 91 and 92, if you can see between the 90 where over-deliver its price point. I love it. Well done. 91, 92, and 93, that's that rock star level. 94 are wines of exception. Like 94, we're talking about 2% of the wine that we taste every year. These at 94, that's where you make the top 10 wine of the year. These are the wines like the Bellaterra Cabernet Franc. These are the 13th Street Première Cuvée last year. These are the Mount Boucherie Cabernet Sauvignon, or the Westcott Butler's Grand. These are 94, 90 plus, 94 plus. 95 and 96, we're talking about like less than 5 wines every year, or 95 or plus. So you see here where I'm going with the scale. So if you're new to our system, if you're new to Carl's Wine Club, that's the way we're going about the scoring. There you go.
All right. Solid. So you know what? Can you get through 10 more wines in the next 20 minutes?
Sure.
Let's do it, because I want to know. Okay, at some point, I want you to get through the wines, but I also want to see traditional method, Charmat, and Frizzante together, and let's just compare.
Okay.
Mike
is
betting against you. Mike is betting against you. I'm taking bids, guys. Let's see who can win this. No.
Come on, there's no fucking way. Okay.
Let's try.
So while we're at we're tasting rosé, let's do traditional method now, rosé. Okay.
Okay. So I got to say something about opening the bottle. There you go. Look how gracefully you do it. Some people are scared. I get a little scared opening. You know, I used to anyway. So we had a spot at our house when I was growing up on the ceiling in the kitchen where my dad made a point every New Year's to point the bubbly towards this particular spot. And he had like a cluster in the ceiling of like dents from all the New Year's. We almost wanted to label them, you know, like each one was like a different year. But anyways, I was very proud of this as a child. Like if people came over to our house, I'd be like, oh, this is the spot in the ceiling where the bubbly gets popped.
So now we can see a big difference. Okay, I have it on the nose. This is traditional method. It's Ella from Maverick Estate Winery down in Oliver. It's Golden Mile. I mean, I don't know how long on leads, but you have the nose. The nose is champagne. The nose is Lisi. We can get the brioche. You get the croissant. You get the complexity exclusively on the nose. I haven't tasted it yet, but you're like, okay, this is something else. I mean, I know by smelling it, probably by tasting it, that I probably paid more than others, but this is complex. So I tasted that wine at Thanksgiving this year, where I stayed here while Mira was traveling, and I was invited graciously by the Hammersley. So I was at Rob and Michelle Hammersley for Thanksgiving dinner, and Rob popped a bottle of Eller Rosé Brut, and it totally got my attention in terms of complexity, in terms of how soft the wine was, how almost perfect. Oh my God, that was just such a great start of the night. So I really wanted to have that tonight. I was talking to Jan Nelson, owner of winemaker at Maverick a couple of weeks ago, and he graciously donated a bottle for that tonight. So here you go, 12% alcohol. This is a blend of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, rosé style. But if you look at it, it's very, very, very little tint of rosé. If you compare it to my more pinky Bellaterra, see, there's a big difference here. So over just a little hint with the Pinot Noir. I would say probably more Chardonnay than Pinot in there. Love the nose. There's a lot of finesse, lots of finesse in there.
Colinda on Instagram, Carl is asking, have you tried Bardier Brothers Brut traditional method? Apparently it's amazing. There's so many great ones we need to try. And I mean, we haven't even mentioned like Summerhill Pyramid. I mean, they built a replica pyramid to age their bubblies. And so like, there's so many great stories in the Canadian wine community.
I mean, and that's what I wanted to mention at the beginning. I'm not doing a show here on the best bubbly in Canada. That's not what we're doing tonight. it's what we had in the cellar basically from the last couple years that we thought it would be fun to open. There's a great diversity of bottles. It is not about what's the best. To answer your question, no, I have not tasted Bartier. Last time I've tasted a bottle of Bartier was a Chardonnay a couple years ago. I met Michael actually last week when I went to the barrel room in Oliver with Mark Simpson. Michael Bartier was there moving some barrel around and taking some stuff to the winery. But I mean, no, I haven't tried Bartier Sparkling. I should make a point to get that in my repertoire and get these tasting notes going into our archive. So
yeah,
here, Ella, I mean, Ella is a 91 plus points. I would say maybe close to 92. This is finesse. The aromatics are absolutely fantastic. The bubbles are very fine. They are numerous in there. There's a lot of bubble. It's soft. It's a beautiful mouthfeel that I really, really enjoy. It's leesy, but not over leesy. I'm not always a big fan of that super breedy kind of sparkling. I'm not a crew guy. I'm more of a really finesse, like Perrier, Laurent Perrier style. This is more on the finesse side, definitely, and I really enjoy that. I can't wait to get that on your glass, Mira. To me, this is a 92 points.
All right.
For people who are listening, the highest sparkling that we have ever rated here in Carl's Wine Club, I believe that's the 13th Street Première Cuvée 2014 vintage, who made my top 10 wine of the year last year or 2 years ago. Last year, this wine is still, to me, one of my reference. They also make a Blanc de Franc that absolutely stunning. Summerhill, to me, is one of the top producers sparkling here in BC. We tasted the Ariel 2020 that we've tasted a couple years ago for New Year's, Mira. The Ariel, and there's also the Gabriel. So, but this is Ella. This, I mean, it's well priced for traditional method. Maverick Ella, we're having at $35 here. I would say plus tax, it's just around the $40 price point. But yeah, this is worth it, worth every single penny. I like it. Boom.
Hey, I gotta ask you. I'm writing notes in our little spreadsheet here. What was the note? What was the score you gave the Bella Terra Rosé Sparkling?
91.
Pretty spectacular, given that it's $24.95.
It is, and that's why it's a half a point goes right there for the value. I never go over a point, more than a point added for value, but this is a very, very important point of the equation. This is a big part. I mean, if this Bella Terra Rosé would be $50, I mean, it was still a good wine because the taste doesn't change. But what I have to fork out of my pocket is the double, and it's not worth double. So there's a big difference there. $24.95, absolute freaking late. This is absolutely fantastic for the price. So that's why I'm not a 90 plus anymore. I'm at 91 because my enjoyment by keeping a bunch of money in my pocket, it's much bigger than just if I have to fork double. So no, price has to my opinion. And I've been arguing with other wine writers and people who score wines over the last 15, 20 years, where people say, why do you put the price in the equation? Everything should be completely blind. I agree with the blind. But if you guess the price and you're off by 200%, I mean, that's mean the value, the delivery deserve an extra score for sure. So anyway, that's my opinion, and I stand behind that for that. Like it's a very, very important point to me. So we did three rosés.
Speaking of price, our least expensive bottle today, including tax, is $16.95.
Well, let's pop it.
And
if you're scared,
is 55 plus tax. I'm just getting us an average too, because it's kind of fun to know what the average is.
And if you're scared, always keep the cage on the top. You untwist that little thing here. You untwist it. Keep your thumb on the top. Close your hand, squeeze it, and turn the bottle. Turn the bottle. You'll feel the cork start turning, and boom.
That's right. I never thought of that. But yeah, Carl turns the bottle, not the cork. He turns the bottle. I like that.
Absolutely. That's the way to do it. Okay, here. So Casadilla Riesling from Prince Edward County, Ontario. Yeah, this is a Charmat method, I believe. Let me see. I tasted a couple wines from Casadilla, all very good value wine. And this is the 2018 vintage. So what to expect here? 2019. Sorry, 2019 sparkling Riesling. So I have no idea on the residual sugar here. Huh, interesting nose.
Which is interesting, like with bubbly, you'd think a little RS is good, and it is if the acidity can hold it. We once had a sparkling that was too sweet. Not fun. But for the most part, that doesn't happen, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's unique. $16.95. I mean, I like what they're doing usually. It's not bad. It's well priced. To me, that's a quintessence of 88. 88, 89, 88 plus, not 89, but 88 plus. I mean, it's very well priced. It's $17. It's $17 for God's sakes. What can you expect for $17 including tax? I mean, that has to be part of the consideration. That has to be part of the equation. So, I mean, is it great? It's not. It's not great. Is it bad? It's not bad. Is it value? It is value. Because if I challenge anyone who's listening right now to tell me, when is the last time that you had a bubbly under $20? Now, if you have one, tell me, when is the last time you had a bubbly closer to $15 than $20? Because this is closer to $15 than $20.
So if it was a wine, we're talking like less than $15 wine plus tax.
So, and on the nose, I mean, it's Riesling on the nose. It is Riesling. That's that. A little bit of petroleum on the nose. The bubble doesn't stick around too long. But again, what can I expect for $16? I love Riesling. Personally, I absolutely love Riesling. So I got the nose, I got the Riesling. I'm happy right out of the get-go. So, okay.
Roger's saying something that I don't understand.
Gruner Veltliner, it's a Spanish producer. They produce some cava. I used to work a ton with Gruner Veltliner. They had 3 level. They had that very specific bottles with the big silver bottom where it was like 20 close to 30, but their entry level, I agree with you, Roger. Their entry level were something like $17, but $18.95, $18.99. See, so but this is plus tax at your LDB. So yes, great value, but here from the winery at $16.95, including tax. I mean. There you go. But thanks, guys, for bringing some names in there. I appreciate that. I just I love that. I absolutely love the engagement here. That is fantastic. So 88 plus at $16.95, 88 plus. There's nothing wrong with that bottle.
There you go.
Where are we
going next?
Where do you want to go? No, you know what? While we're doing Riesling, we're going to do Riesling traditional method.
Okay. This was Charmat, which you would expect for $16.95. Like usually,
this is not Charmat. It's traditional. It's traditional.
It's much more expensive. I know, but Casadilla, the one you had for $16.95 tax, that was Charmat, which is what you would expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
That means they added in the bubbles. Versus traditional method, which involves the yeast producing bubbles and
Well,
aging.
and it's also it's the disgorgement. The disgorgement is a full freaking
Huge job.
oh, it's crazy. So you got the riddling process. The riddling, you have to rotate every single freaking bottle by hand, quarter by quarter by quarter. And after that, you have to reopen them. You have to take the freaking carrots of yeast and out of the bottle. This is, yeah, I mean,
huge process. I mean, we know this because Black Market Wine Co. here in Caledon near Penticton, they make something they call nothing to declare. It's a supernatural traditional method.
No, ancestral method.
Ancestral method, pétillant naturel. So like a lot of work goes into that. Divergence. This is a mini bottle. This is a half
bottle. 375 is made by Jeff Muth. So Jeff at Divergence, absolutely fantastic winemaker, produced small batch of single vineyard. This is the used vineyard. We know used vineyard because our friend Mark Pister with Fogalar works with used vineyard consistently. And Jeff Muth is taking this to the next level with a sparkling traditional method from the 2021 vintage. This is so intriguing because you got Riesling note. Okay, you smell and you have some Riesling aromas mixed with brioche aroma with the traditional, the yeasty. So the yeasty and the Riesling together makes it for a very unique note. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do traditional method Riesling from Intersection, from the gold, from Oliver, and side by side with Divergence in the Lincoln Lakeshore appellation in Ontario. Okay, this is the very first Riesling sparkling production from Intersection. So Mel at Intersection, it's her first ever. It's handmade, hand label, hand everything. I think she made something like 55 cases of that Riesling sparkling traditional method. Has been on the work for 18 to 24 months. I can't remember exactly, but she's been talking about it for a while. So I have cross-country sparkling Riesling here, okay?
Small batch, traditional method. Pretty cool.
Both. Like how is 1,600 bottles divided by 12, Mira? 16.
Okay, well, I've been having bubbly, so I don't know. So it's 133.3 repeating.
Say that again?
133.3. So it's just over 133 cases.
Okay. Of small bottles. So divide it by 2.
Yeah, so that's like
it's 3 barrels. So here we go. So we're going to start with Divergence here.
66 cases, real cases. So interesting because it's a half size.
It's very Riesling.
It's very Riesling.
Bone dry. It's super dry. Green apple, zingy. There's a nice soft texture. There's a little bit of bready, like a little bit of croissant, but very little. I get it more on the nose than I get it on the palate. But I got a great minerality at the end. For me, it's that citrus peel. We'll get a little bitterness, but it's not bad bitter. That's a bitter that I love from Riesling. It's a little tartness, not bitter, but tart, that I really, really like. To me, that's Riesling in the nutshell. This is fantastic. It's a little bit geeky. Because it's right. If you want to make it more approachable, a little bit more classic, you add a little bit more residual in there. But to my opinion, this is probably under 4 grams of residual sugar. It's very little RS in here. I love the bubbly. I love the green apple, citrus peel, dry. and like stony. So I love that. Jeff, great job. I mean, this is another one that I get around the 92 points. Definitely. Absolutely. So,
nice.
oh, he's right there and he's listening. 9 gram. I am shocked. I thought it was much drier than that. Wow. So that tells me, right, the equilibrium, the balance, the synergy, RS acid is just getting together so well. Great job. Oh, Jeff, thanks for being here, for listening to the show. This is a 92 points Carl's Wine Club. I know you guys like geeky, but it's, yeah, I mean, this is fun. I love that. Surprising, 9 gram. I've never tell.
I'll put that in my notes. Lorna, see, if we were more organized, we would have told you about this sooner, but yeah, you could have stopped by tonight. I mean, holy. We'll do it again.
I'm going to, side by side, we're going to all the way to BC. I believe that archive here, the first ever, it's Golden Mile Slope appellation. So,
which is new, isn't it? That
appellation. New appellation, Golden Mile Slope. So let's see here. Similar nose. A little bit more stony on the divergence. I got a little bit of orchard fruit in there on the nose. I got citrus dominant, but I got the tiny bit of peach in here.
Nice.
Okay. It's not as precise. It's a little bit more fun. A little bit not fun in the sense that the other one is not fun, but I mean a little bit more easygoing, not as cerebral. Let's talk about price here. We have the archive at $30 plus. Very well priced.
So I'm going to give you the price with tax. Okay, we're talking $35 for the archive and $40 if you count the divergence. If there were 2 of them, it'd be a $40 bottle, right? But you're getting it in a half size for $20, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like the half sizes, honestly, because we mainly drink sparkling to start, like open your palate at the beginning of an evening, right? Or with oysters, my favorite. And sometimes you don't want to have a whole bottle with 2 people of bubbly because you're going to go on to other wine with your meal, right? So the half size is awesome.
Yeah, and I like the legs. Like the legs, there's a nice concentration in there. There's a little mix between the green apple, between the citrus, between the orchard. The big thing is here. It's the length. I like the backhand. I like that white spice of that sparkling. There's a like a little bit of cardamom, I would say, that linger at the end with a little bit of white pepper and kind of like it's unusual for Riesling, but I like that. I know they have there's a little bit more work to be done on that, but it's a good start, a very, very good start for Intersection and their sparkling. I will go to 89 plus with their score here. But it's a very good start for the first ever try on sparkling, I think, and going straight on traditional method and working with a very little amount of equipment for sparkling down there. I think Mel and their team did a great job to get that program going. So, yeah.
And I love how classic it is. I mean, we love everything that Intersection does, honestly. So when a winery that's so well established on the reds and on their Riesling makes a new bubbly like that, it's just so exciting. It's like when Black Hills released their first ever bubbly after so many years of being, known for Nota Bene, and they made their first bubbly.
Absolutely. So this check, Maverick check, Divergence check, Casadilla check, Bellaterra check.
Where are you going to go next?
There you go. We're halfway there. Come on, that's going well. It's 6:06.
Our dinner guests will be here any minute.
No, Roger is still looking for the torch.
Okay, because we're having creme brulee. I don't know if creme brulee goes well with bubbly. I guess we'll find out. But we have
I'll
something.
text him back. I'll say, hey, don't worries. No worries. Oh, good.
We can also put them in the broiler, but
whatever. You don't want creme brulee warm, though. Anyway, okay. What do you want me to do here now? We're going to say these two. So let's go. Frizzante Isabella, Mythology Frizzante. Let's do these two Frizzante side by side, okay?
That's when you know I think you're a foodie. If you call people up and say, hey, I can't find my blowtorch for dinner tonight. Do you think you can bring yours? That's kind of a funny thing to ask someone to bring.
There you go. Mythology Vineyard here. If Mark Simpson is listening, he might be up at the hill right now skiing, but I don't know what's the blend on that wine. We might try to discover a little bit of it while tasting, but I don't have its blend. And we have the Silva with Isabella Frizzante. Only 200 cases made. It's 75% Riesling with 25% Muscat here. Okay, here.
It was one we really enjoyed last year. I don't know if we've tasted this newer vintage. Have we?
That's the one we had, I think. Yeah. More bubbles with in the Isabella. So both are Frizzante. So we're talking under 3 bars of pressure. So that's the biggest difference here. And
yeah, so
I believe
the pressure has bars. Is this how they rate it? The pressure.
That's the measure. That's the measure. Yeah, that's the measure for pressure. It's in bars.
And so, how many bars is like a lot of bars?
But the sparkling wines are over 3 bars, and Frizzantes. That's the parameter. Under 3, it's Frizzante, and if you go in Italian style, it's Spumante versus Frizzante. So there's less pressure, there's less bubbles.
Okay, so 3 bars is kind of the standard, is what you're saying, of bubbles pressure. And if it's less than 3, and then it's called Frizzante?
You got it. You got it.
And if it's more than 3, then what?
It's sparkling.
Ah, okay. See, I didn't know this.
Well, now you do. Now you do. So, see? I mean, after 10 years of marriage.
I should know this, but I didn't.
Okay, lots of both are very floral. So I get the Muscat here in the Isabella. So what I like with Isabella, first and foremost, it's single vineyard. It's the Hidden Hollow Vineyard. This is if you've been in the Okanagan, if you've been on the Naramata Bench, if you've been to the Silva or at the Kitchen, fantastic restaurant, one of the best restaurants in BC, to my opinion, and one of the very top in the Okanagan. So if you're sitting there on the patio, the vineyard behind the winery, it's the Hidden Hollow Vineyard, and they grow Riesling, Muscat, Chenin Blanc, and Sauvignon Blanc. So this is the home vineyard. And yeah, 75% Riesling, 25% Muscat. That brings in here on the nose a beautiful floral component with that zingy green apple style. And definitely Granny Smith apple with a bouquet of white flower. That's what I got on the nose. Very floral on the palate as well. And now you see the difference with Frizzante. We just had a bunch of sparkling, some traditional method. We just get by 2 traditional method Riesling. You see the difference in the style of bubble. There's way less bubble in your mouth. It's obvious when you do it side by side. Very, very obvious. Let's go to the mythology. So side by side, I'll get back to both after to give a
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I gotta say, the 2021 Da Silva Isabella Frizzante, we have tasted it a few times. You gave it a certain score in the past. What would you give it these days? Like, I'm curious if it's changed for you.
I would say this is a solid 89 plus.
Okay.
Might be even close to a 90.
Okay. So you tasted it September of 2022, a year ago, and you gave it 90 plus.
90 plus. So yeah, we're at 90.
I kind of wonder, like, because it's Frizzante, does it have like a peak sooner, would you say?
Oh, but that was it the 2021 that I tasted then?
Yeah.
So that was probably like the just bottle, like right out of the bottle line. I might have a little bit more freshness in there, but this is still so the bubbles are not explosive, but exactly what it is. It's exactly what it can be. Refreshing, nothing pretentious, fun to drink.
And that's one of the things that I thought, okay, because you always, you know, there's always a wine that throws you off and you're like, oh, I thought this, but no. But I thought, like, if it's traditional method, that's more suited for cellaring.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Versus Frizzante.
Absolutely. Frizzante, 2 years, and you're moving on. 2 years and you're moving on.
But here's what's interesting, okay? In this lineup, we have a 2016 Gruner Veltliner Frizzante that is drinking beautifully.
Oh, you're going to have to bring me the bottle.
Oh, it's down here? Okay, I'm going to bring it for you. But you know what? We were so excited about this because A, we don't know anybody in the country making a Gruner Veltliner or bubbly, right? And B, it's a 2016 and it's tasting really nice.
It's tasting really nice. So we're going to have to put the interview in very soon. So how about we do that?
Yeah. Okay. So let's play the interview. Harsh Kangura from Pipe Dreams. We had to find out more about this Frizzante. We'd never tasted their wines, and we love discovering new things. So we thought you guys might as well. Let's bring him on the show. Harsh will join us for about 10 minutes, and then we'll taste that. So this was recorded this morning because Harsh had something. He was traveling today.
Let me give you a score. Before you get Harsh on the show, let me give you a score for both. 90 points for the Isabella, and I would say for a 89 for Mythology. For Mythology, let me try to guess here. There's a super floral, so I would go with Muscat in there too. I think there's Muscat in the Mythology, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of Bacchus as well, but I'm thinking there's some Pinot Gris in there, so there might be a splash of Viognier too. This is a blend of multiple things. I have no idea what it is. It's not disclosed anywhere, but if Mark Simpson is listening, I would like to know your blend for the 2020 Mythology Frizzante.
And I mean, this is another one. This is our second, third, fourth least expensive. So this is another one of those like fun, more cheerful kind of bubblies, right? To start off an evening.
Mira, why during the you might find the blend because when we did Carl Cellar, I believe that we had that in the offer.
The Escapist, I think it was called at the time.
You're right.
I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, it was the 2019 that we had. Yeah. Back when it was called Siren's Call. It was the 2019 Escapist Frizzante. But at the time, okay, so this gives you a hint. 64% Muscat, 13 Gewurz, 16 Bacchus, 7 Viognier. So you kind of named most of them. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so get Harsh in here. We'll find the bottle and we'll taste and we'll splash you.
Here we go.
There you go. So this is about Pipe Dream Winery. Here we are. We are with Harsh Beer here with Pipe Dream Winery down in Oliver, BC. Harsh Beer, how's it going, my man?
Good. How are you? How's everyone?
Happy holidays. No, I'm doing very well. Today's a really exciting day. I mean, tasting over 12 sparkling side by side. It's always put me in the holiday mood.
Oh,
So, can't wait. So we have some really interesting stuff from you. But first, before we talk about Gruner Veltliner, I want to talk about Pipe Dream. I want to talk about you purchasing the winery a couple years ago. So tell me a little bit more. When did you acquire the winery, and what's the Pipe Dream for us beer with Pipe Dreams?
yeah. So we purchased this winery back in 2020. So just like right in the middle of the pandemic, April to be specific. And then from there, we like I started learning. The person that was running this winery before stayed on with us and kind of taught me the roots of this winery specifically. And then worked with him for about 2 years, and then I worked with Mark Simpson, if you know him, obviously.
Yeah. Like Mark is very well known from the membership, owner of Mythology Vineyard. You guys are pretty close in terms of like the winery are close from each other. So Mark has been mentoring you in terms of winemaking, if I understand the relationship correctly.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, just learned a lot about winemaking, which I never thought I would be the one making the wine. But my pipe dream was really like even when I graduated in my yearbook, I actually wrote own a winery and run a restaurant in my caption of my yearbook, and here we are. So we got the winery.
It's a great check mark on already. So, Hartby, how old are you? Because you're pretty young for winery owner. Tell me more.
Yeah, I'm 23 years old, turning 24 in a few months, and yeah, really young. But I started working at a young age with my parents, helping them with their business, farming side of everything. And we also do have a fruit stand in Oliver, which we've been running since 2004. So just been head on heels with that.
Farming is running to the one to like it's the roots of the family, right?
Roots of the family. Even with my parents back in India, they were farming. Came to Canada in 1996. Came here, started working for Cellared Ranch.
Okay.
They worked there for about 10 years, and then we bought our first property here. And then from there, it's just been go, go, go.
So the wine business, the farm business, it's not something unknown in the family. So that's awesome. And you guys are very different. At Pipe Dream, I mean, you guys are located on the Golden Mile, no, just before the Golden Mile, if I'm correct. Not
Yeah.
right in the Golden Mile, but you're down in Oliver.
Yeah.
But not like most of the winery down there. You guys focus on different grape varietals.
Yeah, more specifically German varietals and Austrian varietals. So we got Gruner Veltliner, Zweigelt, and Kerner. So we kind of what the previous owners wanted to do was kind of make this winery unique to different type of varieties that aren't really being grown in the Okanagan. So I think it's kind of really good to like kind of step away from everybody else in the industry and do something unique, because that's what kind of differentiates us. And from there, we just want to grow these varietals, because I don't think a lot of people really know Zweigelt, Kerner, and Gruner. Like, yeah, the wine connoisseurs do know these varietals, but with the people like that are just regular wine drinkers, they're not really sure what these varietals are. But that's my job for now, is to make everybody know what these varietals are.
In terms of case production, where's Pipe Dream is situated? You guys are more around the 2,000 case production, or am I
Yeah.
around?
So we are about 2,000 case range, but this year specifically, we didn't produce as much. Just how the industry has been hurting, so
Absolutely.
we had to cut down on our case production. But we've got a lot of inventory from the previous years, so it's not really a big problem that we had to cut. But definitely in the future want to grow it even past 2,000 cases with the help of our wine club that we just started up late this summer. So that's kind of the next goal, to ramp up.
High Cream Wine Club. So that's really exciting. Absolutely. And I know that if you join the wine club right now, like, you can have access to this really fantastic and unique library wine. I know that you saved a few cases for your new joiner of the wine club. So what we have here, it's a sparkling. This is the Charmat Method 2016 Gruner Veltliner. So I cannot wait. Among that whole lineup that we had, that's probably the wine that I was really excited about. And here we are. So
cheers to that.
Thank you. But what I'm getting here, like, okay, so I was debating, is it gonna still be fresh and crisp? And now that's my first question. When I get to the nose, I don't get a lot of oxidative notes, so it smells pretty fresh.
Yeah, it aged really well in the bottle. It's kind of light bodied, a lot of notes of fresh citrus, and it's really crispy. So definitely one of the, I don't want to be biased, but definitely one of the best bubblies I've tasted. So definitely, like, going forward, want to create something similar to this. So hopefully we're able to achieve that.
That is cool because, yes, like you mentioned, it's fresh. There's crisp citrus. There's some pear.
Yeah.
On the palate, the bubbles are still alive. The acidity is right. And to me, it's always one of the key component of a sparkling. Where is the acidity at?
Yeah.
And it's still zinging in there. Yeah, it's pleasant. There's a little hint of oxidation, but it's part of the personality. 2016, I mean, you expect that at that stage, but it's not like, it's just a small little part of it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you love it. It's definitely, like, I've tried a lot of, like, champagne bubblies, and, like, whenever I drink them, they seem way too carbonated, way too, like, bubbly. Like, it's this one's kind of, like, perfect, and it's drinkable, right? Like, you don't have to, like, pop.
It tastes great right now. Yeah, nice pear in the mid palate. There's a little bit of flowery notes as well. The taste linger for a good time. This is definitely a 90 points on the Carl's Wine Club scale. Absolutely. I like, there's also kind of a white pepper lingering at the very, very end. And there's a kind of a sense of minerality in there as well. A little bit chalky. But yeah, it's crisp. It's balanced. This is great. So I understand why you're telling me I would kind of like, don't tell anyone, but I would like to keep maybe a case or two for myself. I know why you wanted that now. It makes a lot of sense. This is really, really good.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. So tell me a little bit more about the wine club before I let you go. So you just built the new wine club, and I think that you are, you maybe, like, being willing to give a free bottle of that for the people who join or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. So the wine club consists of 3 levels, and each of them have different bottle quantities. So first one, 6 bottles, second one, 12 bottles, and the third one is 18 bottles. If you do join it, you do get any club you do on your first order, we do send a complimentary bubbly, the Gruner Veltliner, and also, even better, you don't really have to join the wine club. I'm going to be putting out the promotion otherwise only for the first 24 orders that come in. So people that buy 11 bottles or more get a complimentary bubbly as well, and that will be live here in the coming couple days.
A little bit of a survivor pack for the New Year's, right? Exactly. Restock the cellar with some varietals that you might not have a ton of in your own cellar. So I love that because it's different. Pipe Dreams offer something new to our Canadian wine lovers. So Ars Beer, thank you so much for joining me. It's pretty freaking fantastic. I love that bubbly, and I recommend it to anyone. And happy holidays to you and your family, Ars Beer. Keep up the great work, and I'm sure I have a feeling that we'll see you around Carl's Wine Club in 2024.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Have a happy holiday as well.
Thank you so much.
Woo! That was awesome. It's always thrilling when we find something new like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like Gruner, I like to say, like, I'm part of the geek, right? I'm not like, I've been in this for a long time, so I like to discover new things. I like to go beyond the threshold. I like to push the limit. I like to taste what people think like when they push the limit. But Gruner Veltliner, it's that really hot cake right now in the somm world, in the big cities. Like if you look at New York City, Montreal, Toronto, like Madrid, like all of these big cities, Gruner Veltliner, if you go to wine bars, like wine bars are filled with Gruner. I mean, this is the hot take right now. But like we found down there at Pipe Dream, a guy who he's just he's been for 5 years, or he's been since the previous owner, growing Gruner and making it the center of his portfolio for a while. So this is really intriguing.
And getting some of their vines too are quite a bit older because there was a vineyard there before. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see that, and unexpected that Gruner Veltliner bubbly. It tastes fantastic. So maybe we need to be making more bubblies out of Gruner.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but this grape, like, I mean, the acidity level is naturally high, and like this is cream bubbly. So this Austrian type of grape is absolutely fantastic. The Okanagan terroir is great for that as well. And yeah, so Harshbeer is working right now to have his own version of the Gruner Sparkling. Now we're tasting the 2016, and it's really, really unique and special, and it's still full alive. So really cool. I love that.
I want to say about Harsh that I was really impressed with. He's a second generation winemaker and farmer and grower in the Okanagan. Props to that, because more and more we're seeing the second generation doesn't want to have anything to do with it. It's so much work.
One of the reasons why there's so many wineries for sale in the Okanagan.
Yeah, and here we have a second generation right out of the gate. He just graduated a couple of years ago from university, and he's out there running his own winery already and doing a great job. So
yeah, really no, it's awesome. It's awesome to see the progression of Pipe Dreams in the next coming years, and see what they're doing with the German and Austrian grape varietals. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. But 2016, 90 points, Gruner Veltliner Sparkling here again, just to show you that is super cool. So get into their wine club if you want to get a bottle, or go on their website. They offer for free a bottle because there's pretty much nothing left.
He told me if you go to the Pipe Dreams website, the code is Secret Bubbly. So if you write code Secret Bubbly and you buy 11 bottles, you get this 12th one free, which is awesome. And yeah, hey, we got like a few.
I have 4 more. Okay, we'll do that. I know that Roger and Megan are on the way for raclette now, so let's go fire. Let's fire that. I have in my glass here Fred wine. So then the Primrosa.
What's the 4th one? Is there a secret one? I have Fred wines left, Black Hills, and Stoneboat. What else?
Yeah, Mary Nissen, blah blah blah. I did a little last minute add on. Yeah, I didn't have a Blanc de Blanc, and you know me, like when it's Chardonnay, like I mean, a sparkling tasting would not be complete without a Blanc de Blanc. So I was like, what am I doing here? Like I need a Blanc de Blanc.
And I have one. Just means white from white. So it means it's made out of Chardonnay?
Yeah, the classic, if you go to Champagne and you hear Blanc de Blanc, that means this is 100% Chardonnay. If you get a Blanc de Noir,
it's Pinot Noir.
That means this would be probably 100% Pinot Noir. You can have Blanc de Noir with Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, but basically a Blanc de Noir, it's a white sparkling. It's sparkling clear with a dark grape. Blanc de Blanc, white grape giving you a white juice.
I
Okay,
see.
so this is Fred's wine. So, okay, let's talk about Fred here, okay? How cool is that? I love that label. This is from Fred DiProfio, the winemaker at Bellaterra. So Fred makes this wine at Bellaterra. He's been the winemaker at Bellaterra since the very beginning. Since the first vintage at Bellaterra with Lou Puglisi, Fred was their winemaker. And a couple years ago, Fred's like, okay, you know what? I would like to have my own brand too. So Lou and Marcel gave him full reign. Say, yeah, as long as you stay with us, we're going to give you take space in our facility, make your own wines under your own label, and they're supporting him to do that. It's really cool. So Fred went and sourced some Gamay grape here, and it's made, that rosé is made with 100% Gamay. It's cuvée so it's with carbonation injected here in the bottle. So we'll see. Let's see here. So I love the nose. A little, it's a little candy nose here.
Okay.
Like maraschino cherry, ripe strawberry, a little bit of flower, like a little bit of a floral note. The bubble seems to be pretty beautiful. It's light on his feet. It's approachable. I would say it's probably just around 10, 12 grams of residual sugar. It's not sweet candy at the end. There's definitely a light little sweetness, let's say strawberry sorbet kind of thing at the end. It's very fresh. I mean, I see Fred's style of winemaking between this and the Bellaterra one. These are not similar one, but there's the same finesse into that. There's that same flawless type of bubbly. Like there's nothing disjointed in there. This is very it's flawless. I really like that. I really, really like that. It's just as easy as it gets. I mean, sometimes you have very easy wine, but there's a little hole here or there, right? Cuts off after the mid palate, or there's a little something. You don't have big. This is just great from start to finish. I love Fred's Rosé. It's my second time having a shot at it. I remember when we went to the Pan Canadian, and we rented a big house by the golf course, and we had a bunch of people over, and Fred came with margarita that night, and he brought a bottle. We had a first try ever at the Primrosa, and the Primrose, and I liked it. And tonight, I have the privilege to dig into it, and it's really, really good. I love it.
Very nice. So, what score would you give that?
It's a 90 point. It's just pleasant across the board. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. 90 plus.
Okay.
I love it. I mean, I just love it. And on the other hand, we have Stoneboat, the Bubble Boat Brut. So another cuvée close here. So Stoneboat is a Pinot House, Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris. I would believe that this is probably from 100% Pinot Gris, probably. No, if I know, it might be some blend Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it claims, I don't know if that's just your notes, but it says Pinot Gris. But whenever there's a single varietal listed on a wine, it can have what, up to 20% other things, right?
Yeah.
And it can still be considered 100% Pinot Gris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's always fun. Carl always picks that up. He'll be like, there's like a tad of Gewurz.
Yeah. There's definitely a bunch of Pinot Green there, like absolutely, like no doubt about that.
Very Pinot Green.
It's not as flawless as Fred's wine. It's a little bit of a rocky road there, but enjoyable, nice freshness, a little bit of citrus peel as well, bringing a little tartness after the mid palate. Lots of orchard fruit. This is peach, a lot of peach, a lot of ambrosia apple, a lot of pear. I mean, yeah, it's good. There's nothing wrong with that. The price, well, where are we going with the price? Like, yeah, the price point is good. I mean, it's 24 plus tax, so $27.
I mean, so it's $27.70 including tax and deposit. So it is probably
just having a little hard time with the finish. The finish cut short a bit, but I mean, it's festive. It's the entry, the front palate is super fun. Like it's ripe. It's there's no burst of sugar. That's something you're like, ooh, okay, that's sweet. That's not good. No. It's not that. It's dry with a little bit of sweetness that could make it pleasant. So now it's well balanced. I enjoyed that. Let's say this is the 88 plus, on the verge of 89. And this is not bad. You come across that bottle and you like the price point, you go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Nice.
It's a good like palate opener, right? At the start of an evening.
Yeah, the front half is delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, the front half is just like really good.
Hey, I think you left 2 big dogs for the end.
I think so, and I might have done it by purpose.
Really?
You know.
You. So the Mary Nissen, I don't know much about. It's not in my list. It's a secret 13th wine. Okay. So
2020, blah blah blah. So that's from the big vintage. So
vintage of the century in Niagara.
Yeah, it's not. So Mary Nissen, woohoo! Located in Niagara on the lake. So the alma mater of where our friend Jeff Undermark used to be the winemaker. Jeff is the winemaker at Mount Butchery, and Jeff used to be there in Ontario. We really like what Mary Nissens do. They work very well with Chardonnay, but they also do some pretty cool stuff like Cap Franc co-fermented Gewürztraminer. That's the wine that we still talk about regularly.
It was pretty spectacular. It tasted amazing. A play on the Syrah Viognier blend, but yeah, it was very special. Okay, so VQA what for the Mary Nissen?
Mary Nissen, it's Niagara Peninsula.
VQA Niagara Peninsula. Okay, got it.
There you go. And the Black Hills.
And that was the Fred's Pomerose or Primrose, the Gamay that we just had from Fred Wine. That's also VQA Niagara Peninsula.
Yeah, you got that right. And this is the Black Hills 70% Pinot Noir. No, 70%, no, 80% Chardonnay, 79% Chardonnay, 21% Pinot Noir. So that's as close as it gets as a champagne. 40 months on lease. So we're talking pretty leasy. So you got it on the nose. Like on the nose, like I mean, when we're gonna be downstairs, we're gonna have people, we're gonna pour them all, and when we get our nose in that, you can pick that one out of everyone.
Okay, because of the lees.
Yeah, the brioche, the croissant, the almond cookie, like all of that.
And I gotta say, lees is basically what? It's the poop from
the dead particle of the yeast. When the yeast die, the leaves coming down, and they sit in the bottom of the bottle. But
and it literally looks like an extra cork, like when it's happening. So that's why they have to disgorge it. They have to take that little extra.
Well, that's why you put the bottle upside down, and the leaves are gonna like go.
Settle.
They're gonna go settle by the beer cork, the beer cap. It's not a cork just yet. They just close it with the beer cap, and after that, they're gonna freeze the top. And just open it and take that carrot that they call that little stick of leaves out. Kind of, but this brings texture and complexity to the wine. Absolutely.
Yes.
So
one of our favorite bubblies that we've ever had, actually, they left the lees in there and it aged for many years. It was the traditional method from Tin Horn with the lees. They let it age with the lees for many years, and it was really
that's usually what the ancestral method is.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Green apple, zippy, directional.
Black Hills?
Yeah, lots of precision, lots of energy, lots of, it's directional. It's the bubbles.
You mean it's like pointing at things? What do you mean?
It's going straight there. I mean, it's not like no, it's like it's a highway. It's going 100 miles an hour, and it's going straight there. Yeah, there's a lot of precision in there. There's that brioche. There's that I would say the Granny Smith apple, but there also maybe peach, the pit, a little bit more pitty. Saltiness.
What?
Salty minerality. I can get it, like right on the lip. Yep.
Oh, I like that. So Daniel Bonterin from Bottega Wine Studio, he says that is from volcanic soils. That saltiness on your lips after certain wines. Yeah,
and it's again like it grabs you at the end. It's biting. It bites you. It's not about elegance here.
This one's not okay.
It's not about elegance. It's more about. It's a little bit more aggressive. I'm not sure when this was disgorged. And we'll see here. I'll need to do a little bit more research on that, but it's pretty interesting. I like that a lot. This is serious. It's a serious shit.
I think it is also our priciest wine of the night with tax, $63.25. I believe that the Mariness in it says it's the Icon Blanc de Blanc. Is that correct?
No. No. It's the estate.
I'm just trying to find the price for it.
Estate Blanc de Blanc, sparkling estate.
Is it a black label?
Yeah.
Hold it up. Yeah, that's the one. On their website, they call that the Icon, and it's $49.95, including tax, which makes our Black Hills traditional method the highest price wine of the evening.
So the Mariness is 100% Chardonnay.
Okay.
It's much more fluffy. Much more round, much more soft on the mouthfeel than the zippy, zingy, directional. But the bubbles are a little bit more sparse. Like it's not as well taught that it is in the. There's a difference in between blood.
And that's somewhat of a preference. Like I look at our kids, we have 3 of them. One despises anything bubbly. And the other 2 love the bubbles, right? So I think it has to do a little bit with your preference too. Like I think if you're the type of person that loves big in your face bubbles, you're probably going to love like Charmat method more, because you're going to get that more often with Charmat, right? Versus traditional, sometimes you get a little bit more of the refined.
Yeah, but if you look at the Black Hills, it's more like when you just crack the sparkling water, when you open the first sip, shock, like the bubbles are right there. With the freeze, with the Charmat, sometimes the bubbles are bigger. It's like you feel like there's less bubble, they're bigger. When you go to, especially here with the Black Hills, these are tiny, tiny bubbles. There's a lot of them. There's a lot going on. Instead of, I don't know, maybe? Does it make sense?
Yes. Just do that again. How does they sound? Yeah, there you go. Hey, our guests are here. We're having.
Okay, I'm going to close the show, but you go bring the gas in. I have 2 scores here, okay? So for people who are waiting for the scores for the 2 big dogs here at the end of the day, listen, Black Hills absolutely overtake the Marinescence. I'm sorry. We're not here to be like who's better than the other, but right there's an obvious delivery here with Black Hills. It's very, very, very champagne-like. Very impressive, actually. Very, very impressive. I very much like that that Black Hills Sparkling, traditional method. Way to go, 79-21 Chardonnay versus Pinot Noir. I will go to 91 plus, maybe 92 points for this bubble. It is very, very good. Marinescence is lacking a little bit of precision with the bubbles at the end. So it's a little bit more all over the place. I was hoping for a little bit more, to be very honest. But it's still a very good wine. I mean, we're talking here, one of my favorite in terms of Blanc de Blanc. Let's go with 90 points. Soft and smooth. So 92 versus 90 for the 2 last big boys. So here we are. So that was our fun, bubbly, sparkling Christmas show. I mean, I hope that everyone enjoyed. Here you go. Here's some friends here. That's Megan's in the house. Megan is in the house.
Roger, where are you? Yeah, well, he brought some
Megan, before I close off the show, I need to know, Megan, first and foremost, welcome. I'm glad to have you on.
Beautiful.
And I want to know, what is your favorite bubbly of all time?
I can't answer. Raj knows the titles of all the ones that I like, but I don't know all the
See, this is like me. This is what happens.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the Mira.
This is the same thing.
Yeah.
Carl, what's my favorite bubbly?
Probably 13th Street is your favorite bubbly. So, okay, Megan, let me nail it. Let me like scale it back for you. Your husband works with Esther Creek. Yeah. Esther Creek makes a very classic Pinot Blanc sparkling wine. Roger's in the house.
There we go.
So let's say I would suspect that you may have the Esther Creek Pinot Blanc sparkling maybe once or twice in your life.
Ti amo.
Yeah,
we just
the Ti amo, yeah.
I was getting ready and writing on here. We had the Ti amo here.
There you go. There you go. Oh wow.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's very hard to the way my setup is.
It's a cute setup. I like it.
Okay.
There.
Okay, so now we're expanding the show. And Roger, good evening. How's it going, my man?
Very good, Carl. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely great. Listen, we're 13 sparkling in.
Yeah, I know you have.
So what we want to know here, what is Megan's favorite sparkling?
Well, I think it might be it's been a while since we've had it, but I know she really enjoyed it, and it's one that I enjoyed selling way back when I was selling it in a restaurant, and it's the Blue Mountain Brut Rosé.
Blue Mountain.
Okay, yeah.
So someone at the start of our live was saying something about Blue Mountain.
Their Brut Rosé is always classic. Very.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic across the country. When we talk about collectors, that's funny enough because I was talking with a collector from Quebec, and he sent me a list of his cellar and what was in there, like all the way back, like to the early, like 2008, Blue Mountain. Blue Mountain Sparkling is such a classic. I mean, they've been at the top end of any sparkling program in all top restaurants across the country. That's for sure. So now we know that
what's Roger's favorite? What's your favorite?
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. I need to say something. That's me. Like Megan and Mira are very alike. They like big and expensive stuff.
Yeah,
so
that sounds about right.
That's something we need to clarify right now. Okay. My favorite stuff lately, I have to say that my favorite 13th Street with Jean-Pierre Collat absolutely blows my socks off every time. Here in BC, Jean-Pierre is a Chablis, born and raised in Chablis, grew up in the winemaking family, worked in multiple winery in Chablis, and he was on his way to the southern hemisphere early 2000. He wanted to go make some wines in Argentina and Chile, but he ended up in Niagara. So go figure how that happened. I have no idea how he ended up in Niagara, but he found a love for Niagara terroir, and he started to make some sparkling, and absolutely, like Roger, we have to crack a couple of his sparkling bottles or off the chart.
Do we have one? Do we have one kicking around?
Let me go check. We might be able to find something special in there. But in terms of BC sparkling, let me think quickly here. Quickly. Do I have a very favorite? It's hard to nail one really quick. I should have thought of that. I wasn't planning that question, for God's sake.
For God's sake.
Style. What's your favorite style in regards to the 3 different styles you have?
That's a very good question. I really like. I won't lie. I really like traditional. I think traditional brings the extra layer of finesse and complexity that I look for.
You said it earlier, Carl, you're a bit of a wine geek, so
I mean,
gives you a little more to think about.
But if I'm looking behind me tonight, I have 2 favorites. I have the Divergence Riesling Brut, who's probably my favorite of all, and I have to say the Bellaterra Rosé again for the price point and what I get in there. I think it's like pound for pound, maybe one of my top favorites there. So
amazing. Nice. Hey, what were the scores you gave Black Hills?
92 for Black Hills. It's a serious wine. There's a ton of details in that. They're definitely very detailed, bubbly, and 90 points for the Mary Nesson.
Cool. Well, it was amazing to chat with you guys, Canadian wine lovers. Thank you for stopping by. You know what? We're going to be back. We're going to be back very soon doing our wines of the year.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do a special show. Are we going to do one on the 27th?
I think we're going to go live, just possibly a shorter one, if that's possible.
Let's do a Christmas review. Let's do a Christmas review. What was in our glass and what's our listeners' glass? Okay, let's do that. Best pairing with turkey, something like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that sounds good. So now I have to go to work because I have to retaste these 13 sparkling and I have to do some more detailed work. So, and we have to eat and have some fun. So, Canadian wine lovers, Cars Wine Club members, we wish you all a very happy Wednesday. And if it's just there you go. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Instagram followers, that was the first. So we're glad to be on Instagram now. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of across the country. This is Carl's Wine Club Wine Show.
Cheers. Have a great
Cheers.
night.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for stopping in.